walk with me for a few minutes. First, I just want to say I've really been enjoying our time together. For those of you that have been plugging into the series, little morning walks, little morning talks, some inspired thoughts, hopefully some provoking questions, with the intention of moving some action in you and the world around us. For those of you guys that have been plugging in and walking with me in the mornings, you've been enjoying it? Good way to start the day. A little morning mindset, morning motivation. So we've been exploring different concepts on the, let's just say, unique season of life that we're all in. Really diving into not so much the virus itself or COVID-19. There's plenty of experts delivering information, education all day long in that direction, but really focus in on the other pandemic we're all facing right now beyond the virus, and that's the pandemic of fear, anxiety, uncertainty, unknown, stress, panic, all the emotions that are natural, no guilt, natural responses to, again, the unique time that we're all in, and just sharing some thoughts on how we deal with it with really a positive intent. And by positive intent, and not minimizing the reality that we're in, not being unempathetic or unsympathetic to the situations we really have to deal with, but really drawing attention to we can still go through even difficult times, obstacles, with a positive intent. In other words, it's a shift in perspective. And my belief is we don't just have to go through this time, but we can really grow through this time. We can actually go through a challenging time, maybe one of the most challenging times in our life, and actually use it as a way to build strength, build mental muscle, build resilience, build fortitude. At a time where maybe many are defaulting to, wow, it's a time to fall. Maybe this is a time we rise. It's an interesting time because it's kind of a forced pause, if you will. How many of you guys have felt that having to adapt just our calendar, our schedule, staying at home, being remote, but everything we're having to do, it's kind of forcing us just to pause our normal pace, for sure, our normal routines, pause maybe what was an autopilot that we've been running automatically for years, or maybe some of us decades. And you guys, there's not all negative in a forced pause. Matter of fact, maybe, just maybe, the pause that we're in right now is something we all need. We've talked about kind of a shift in values, a forced elevation of awareness, a forced rising of consciousness because of the forced pause. It's really challenging us to realize what we value most, what's important to us, reassess, evaluate, adjust in the pause that we're in. And I think part of the benefit and hope and opportunity during the forced pause we're all going through is maybe a time to at least evaluate, if not recognize, that was the path that we were going down the right path for us? Think about it. What if this scenario we're in right now, disrupting the path that we were on, is maybe a perfect wake-up call to look back and reassess, was I even going down the right path? Was I even, while so busy climbing the mountain I was focused on, was it the right mountain I'm meant to be climbing? It's at least worth the question. It's at least worth the reassessment. I'm not here to say that it wasn't. I can't answer that. I don't even know what you're focused on right now. And I don't even know if you're listening to this right now versus a million other things you could be multitasking doing. Give me your attention. Let's talk about this. But I'm saying it's at least worth asking the question and either affirming or validating that the mountain you've been climbing, the path you've been going down, is the one that's meant for you. or maybe using this as an opportunity to course correct and go a different direction. Instead of just being who we were being, we get to evaluate who we were becoming and ask ourselves the question, is that the person, when it's all said and done, we want to be? For those of you guys that have followed me for a while, you know I kind of call that direction our meant to. And you've heard me probably say before that most people are stuck in supposed to, because we follow a path because it's what we think we're supposed to do. It's what we've been told by those around us. We're supposed to do this and supposed to think this and supposed to act this way and supposed to be this way. And a lot of times we get trapped in this path is supposed to, and it becomes an automatic routine. And man, years can go by, decades can go by, life can go by. And my belief, one of the biggest potential regrets is not maybe the months we're losing right now, or even maybe the years that are behind us. But I think the biggest potential regret is that we spend our life spend our life trying to be who everyone else wants us to be. And in chasing that, missing who we're meant to be. So when I say meant to, I'll get a little more practical. To me, someone's meant to, all of our meant to, is really kind of the intersection of three things. Check out the view. Still and quiet. A person's meant to, in my mind, intersects, number one, purpose. Purpose being the impact that we're meant to make on others. See, purpose is never about self. It's about contribution, service, impact to maybe a single individual, a community around us, maybe the world. That's purpose for all of us. And that intersects with the second, which is passion. Now, passion is obviously something that ignites us, something that excites us, something that activates us, something that gets our emotions going. We all have things that we're naturally passionate about. You guys, that is normal, that is natural. That feeling of fire inside is there for a reason. It's to guide you toward your meant to. That's why you're passionate about some things, and let's just say maybe dispassionate about others. So purpose intersects with passion, intersects with potential. And potential gets down to the skills, the gifts, the strengths, the talents that you've been given the ability to have naturally or develop. See, you have to use your talents and skills if you plan on going far fast. So to me, guys, those are the three things. So where purpose and passion and potential intersect, that's the way to kind of create the target, so to speak. You got the red cross on your meant to. I've been getting a lot of response. I appreciate all the comments, all the messages, all the shares, all the tags. I noticed that. Love you guys, appreciate you guys. That's positive reinforcement for me that this is worth the time and that it's adding value. I've also been getting some questions to go a little deeper on the how. So with the assumption that all of us are kind of buying into the belief system, the script per se, that we can't grow through this, we can't become better. We're ready to evaluate, step off the supposed to track, get onto the meant to track. And it's a valid question. Okay, Blake, can you go deeper on, well, how practically, tactically do you do that? So you guys, I want to share real quick a personal formula I've developed for, over a decade. It's constantly evolving. It's never finite. And I don't claim for it to be like unique thoughts. It's really more of me spending a lot of time reading, listening, asking, surrounding myself with the best that I can, modeling, and then distilling down into some simple practical questions that work for me to create focus. In a time of distraction, in a time where so much is going on, like how do we create focus that moves us toward that meant to? So I call it my life lens. It was designed for me and only me. It's a system I put myself through at least annually, where I ask myself 7 questions. Usually I spend a full day on my birthday going through the 7 questions, sometimes longer. Sometimes I'll make halftime adjustments through the year. But it's 7 questions that I found keep me on track no matter what. No matter challenge, crisis, obstacle, good, bad, emotions, ups, downs, roller coaster. The 7 questions help me stay focused. And I want to share them with you. And this might be the first time I've shared them publicly. Normally I save this for myself, or I've shared it with small intimate groups of people in my community, in my company, to help them go to the next level. But I'll give you guys the 7 questions. You guys ready? So 7 questions that I find valuable, given with you to create focus, to move you toward your meant to. I call it a life lens. Question number 1, what drives you? What drives you? Ask yourself the question, give yourself the answer. What drives you? See, in order to move forward, first thing you got to find is the power, the fuel, the ignition, the activation, the energy, what drives you. And you guys, that's going to tap into things like our values, the things we personally value above others that are unique to all of us, but all of us have values. That's going to tap into things like our strengths, the things that are natural gifts and talents that we're designed to do. When we find ourselves in our strength zone, our gift zone, we find flow. We go further, faster, with less effort, and it's more fulfilling than when we operate outside our strength zone. I'm a big fan of Gallup Strength Finder assessment. I got certified for a week out there at Gallup Corporate. I'm the biggest fan of the tool. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Points you in the direction of strengths. And then, what makes us happy, right? At the end of the day, we all have triggers that we enjoy, that make us happy. And it doesn't matter why, just they make us happy. You guys remember mind maps when we were younger in school? We used to do the bubble charts, little mind maps, just free flowing thinking of things that are connected. I always love doing a mind map of just the question, what makes me happy? Have you ever asked yourself that question and actually put intention into defining and flowing what makes you happy? So bottom line, guys, the question is we got to get to our driver. What drives us? And to me, it's a combination of those things, among others, to give us our activation strength. The second question is not just kind of what, but where. Where do we want to go? So once we have our energy, we have our fuel, where are we directing that? So this gets to things I'm sure you've heard before. Defining your vision. Where is the vision for yourself, for your life? Cast yourself out with no limitation. Remove obstacles and barriers. Don't worry about time. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about the things that get stuck in our head that prevent us from dreaming. Just go to a place where anything is possible and cast a vision of what your life looks like, who you are. And then once you cast a vision of the long term, we got to chunk this down into simple, practical, timely goals. You guys have heard this stuff. So where are we going? At the end of the day, it comes down to goals. Specific, actionable, achievable milestones. Something that you can do in a certain amount of time. That gives us our benchmarks. It gives us our milestones. It's like our markers to move forward. So we got to know where we're going, right, in order to stay focused. Third question is, well, how are we going to get there? So it's not good enough to just define goals of, hey, this is what I want to do. You got to go deeper, because a lot of times people just leave it at goals, like, this is what I want to do, but they don't take it to, well, how are you going to do it? You guys, hope is not a strategy. Goals don't just get accomplished by osmosis. You can't just put them on a dream board or a journal and they manifest. It helps, but you got to define a strategy. So the how is really down to the strategy, as in, okay, what are the steps you're going to take to accomplish those goals? I'm a big fan of linking the strategy to habits, right? Habits are things we do over and over and over again, that they become relatively automatic, or at least we find them more effortless, less willpower. Psychology says it's about lowering activation energy. So lower the amount of energy it takes to start something. And the key thing about habits is we do them, they become a part of us, and it just takes less willpower to start. And that's why they become more automatic. You guys know this stuff. You don't have to think about brushing your teeth, taking a shower, getting dressed. Right? These are all habits we've developed. Well, you can develop habits and move you toward your goals. I'm also a big fan of habit linking. So it's not just defining strategy, but moving toward habits, but we link those habits with other habits. So we do them back to back to back to back. And the power is you have one habit, you build that up, you piggyback another habit, you start building a muscle, right, of kind of a habit pack. We call those routines. So the power of routines is really just linking habits all together. So now a chunk of habits, hopefully habits moving you toward your vision and your goals, take less effort, right? That's why morning routines, evening routines, weekly routines, monthly routines are powerful. So you got to ask yourself, well, how am I going to get there? Fourth question I ask myself is, well, who can help me? See, the great thing about the time we're in is you don't have to do anything by yourself. Everybody has access to the best of the best in the world. You're like, Blake, but I don't know people like that. Guys, we live in a time of digital age where you can learn anything, anytime, on demand. Go Google, go YouTube. There's content everywhere, experts everywhere. Who can help you? Define your inner and outer circles. Inner circles are people that you do have proximity and access to that can help raise your lid, raise your game, challenge you to be better. Outer circle of people maybe you don't have proximity or access to, but you can learn from afar, and their information can be just as valuable. Mentors. I'm a big fan of modeling. Find someone who has what you want, do what they did, you'll get what they got. Think about it. Biggest thing you can figure out is that most things have already been figured out. Once you figure that out, you stop trying to figure it out, and you just go find someone who has it figured out. You might want to rewind and listen to that again, because once you get it, you got it. So you got to figure out who can help you. Next question is number 5. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Now, this is getting to the purpose layer, the mission layer. This is kind of doing some of the soul searching. So I mentioned earlier, purpose. We all have a similar purpose, I believe. Our purpose is to make an impact, to contribute, to serve and help others. That's why we're here. That's all of our purpose. Now, how we do that is unique, and that's our mission. Our mission is how we bring our purpose to life. And you guys, once you get tapped into your purpose and your mission, man, you become electric. You become contagious. People follow people that are on mission, that are on purpose. You get an energy around you, you get an intention around you, and it's like tapping into a almost unlimited fuel source when you're going that direction. So you got to get to the why you're doing this in the first place. Number 6, when. So when's all this going to happen? So once we've kind of defined all the lenses, we got to put it down to practical action. The best way I've found to do that is just to schedule it, to calendar it. If it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done. If you put it in a calendar, chances are it's going to get done. So you got to take all your strategies, habits, routines, the things you need to do to accomplish your goals, to move in that direction, and we got to get it on a calendar, like scheduled, like alert, like alarm. Block it out. Prioritize it. That's where the rubber meets the road, is getting it into a calendar so you can apply the action. And then the last question, guys, number 7, is what happens if you do all of the above? What does your life look like? Where do you get? How will you feel? Who will you become? What type of impact will you be able to make if you're able to stay focused on all the questions I just asked? And then the other side of that coin, what happens if you don't? You continue down the same path, feeling the same way. Not only wasting time, wasting talent, but wasting time and wasting talent for too long. That's wasting life. And I'll go back to where I said at the beginning that one of the biggest regrets is not that we're not good enough or don't have talent or don't have skill or aren't who we want to be. Guys, no, the biggest regret is we are all of that. And yet we let distraction or the supposed to or quarantine and crisis or us just following into autopilot, complacency, and mediocrity rob us from who we're meant to be and doing the steps that can give us the focus to move in that direction. So guys, 7 questions. They're mine, right? You're welcome to take them as your own. And if you ask yourself those questions, what drives you? Where do you want to go? How are you going to get there? Who can help? Why does it matter? When will it happen? And what happens if you do or don't do all of the above? I think you'll find focus. Not only will you find focus, I think you'll find fulfillment. So guys, there's my life lens, and I'm at the top. Check out the view. So hopefully that helps, guys. Tell me one thing you got from this. Give me a nugget below. Tell me if this is valuable. Hey, question. When I normally give these to individuals I'm working with, I go deeper in all of these topics. And I can break down how to do each of the buckets and actually go through the exercise to extract the information. You tell me if this is good enough. Great. If you think I should go deeper on any of those topics, give me some feedback and maybe we'll continue it in future conversations. If you got value from it, guys, share it. If there's someone that comes to your mind or your heart right now that wants to focus on becoming the best through all of this, and this will help, give them a tag below. Other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, and look forward to our future walks and talks. Have a great day, everybody.